So, hello everybody. So, tonight on this wonderful Friday night, hoping that everybody's getting over this COVID stupidness and that we are now starting to see people again and going out a little bit, we'll talk about Mhoba. Mhoba is very, very particular. It's part of that very select club of rums from around the world that are made the right way by some crazy idealists that do the stuff the way they should be done. You also have people like that in Holland. Yeah, and we'll start off first because before I start, talking about the brand and everything else, please start with your first sample, the American Oak. Because talking about rum without drinking rum is it's not a lot of fun. I've been to too many events where you talk for an hour and then finally you get to taste something. It's really, really boring. And so let's, all pour the first sample.
Yeah, so we start from the left in this case.
So I brought all the rums in little sample bottles because I'm traveling right now. I'm in Madrid. Except the American Oak, which we're starting off with. I have it here with me. And yeah, small problem with Mhoba. Each bottle weighs like 1.5 kilos. So when you're traveling with luggage to other countries, bringing in a lineup of 6 bottles is, a bit complicated. Anyway, so while you're tasting this, so Mhoba is from the north of South Africa. It's in the middle of nowhere. It's a beautiful distillery. Mhoba has 400 hectares of their own sugarcane, which is all organic, all cut by hand. Not because we couldn't get machines, but in those rural areas, you need to have physical labor still going on, or you will have a lot of unemployed, unhappy people. So it's both socially and ecologically responsible, and it also guarantees that we have the best quality sugarcane out there. The American Oak, it's our entry-level rum, but at the same time, it's a great cigar rum. You can make rum and coke with it. You can smoke a good cigar. It's perfect. I call it Africa in a bottle because when you taste it, you have that Mhoba signature with the smokiness, but you have wood, you have dirt, you have leather, you have, I don't know, it's like looking out on the African savannah after rain has fallen and you got all these flavors coming up. Got a little bit of black pepper spice coming in. You got the vanilla from the vanillin of the American Oak. This rum is made in a little bit particular way because when Robert started doing rum and started aging rum, the barrels that he got were really, really bad. So he started doing what we call glass cask, which is basically you take a big glass bottles of 50 liters that people will call either Dame Jeanne in France or demi-johns in English or cowboys in South Africa. I think cowboy sounds cool. Exactly, Bert. Yeah. So we take the American Oak staves that we cut up like if they were staves in a barrel. Then we toast them on a barbecue. That's where you get the smokiness from. And then we put them into these glass bottles with the rum in it. And after, let's say, a year, the rum has gotten all the wood flavor that you want to get in your rum. The thing is, we don't need to age our rums for a long period of time because the rum that we select is already cut. So you already take off all the crap. Most of the heads, most of the tails are already eliminated. So I mean, if you come from the whiskey world, you know that a whiskey is only a whiskey after a certain amount of years because the white liquid, the white dog or whatever you want to call it, the unaged whiskey is not really good to drink, but it will become good after a certain amount of years in a barrel. We don't really age our rums because the white rum that we produce directly off the still is very good and you can drink it. But we try to smoothen out and give something else when we add wood in one way or another to the rum. So people go, oh yeah, it's so much easier just to put it in a glass bottle with some staves in it, but actually it's a lot more work, because filling up little bottles of 50 liters takes a lot longer than just filling up 220 liters or 500-liter barrels. So we prefer barrels, and now we have the good barrels, but this is still the way we do it. Anyway, when you do that for 1 year, the glass cask process that I was talking about, when the rum came out, it was a bit murky because we don't do chill filter filtration, so it didn't look that good. And I was like, how can we do this better? So I called up a friend of mine called Andres Contreras, who is a maestro ronero in Venezuela, and he handles about 200,000 barrels of rum, including brands like Ocumare, Pampero, and a lot of other stuff. And I asked him, what happens if you take an overly wooded rum and you put it into a dead barrel? We call them dead barrels when the barrels aren't bringing anything to the rum. And he said, well, if you put a rum in that has too much oils and too much tannins into a dead barrel, those tannins and those oils will go back into the barrel. So without getting religious here, it's only rum. It's, the barrel giveth and the barrel taketh. It's like, what goes in comes out, and so on and so on. And after 6 months, 3 to 6 months, in a ex-whiskey barrel that wasn't bringing anything to the project, suddenly in this American oak, we got a slight aftertaste of whiskey from the whiskey barrel, but we now have a very pure, very beautiful looking caramel colored rum without using caramel, without using sugar, without using any additive, because we don't like that stuff. Well, we don't even like water that much, but sometimes you have to put a little bit in it. And this rum is at 43 ABV. The reason why it's at 43 ABV is that is the minimum of the regulations in South Africa for an alcohol, except pot still, brandy that could go down to 37, but all other spirits, gin, vodka, rum, whiskey, and so on, have to be at least 43% to be considered spirits. If not, you're not allowed to sell them. I talked to a friend of mine who is the son of one of the owners of Diplomático, and Diplomático Reserva Exclusiva, the nice little green bottle that used to have way too much sugar in it, is sold in South Africa at 43 ABV. So they make a special batch just for South Africa. Africa still has power. So that's cool. Anyway, so this was the first one. As I said, you can mix this rum. This is a pure sugarcane juice rum, as I said, organically produced, hand cut, all of that, in a special press that Robert, who is a mechanical engineer, invented. So you have 50 tons of power of weight that goes down on the sugarcane. The sugarcane has, before we put it into that press, we've taken away the leaves. So we don't get that green taste that you get in many agricole, in many pure sugarcane juice rums. We have a more sweeter taste, even though we don't add sugar, as I said, of course. And then we pot still it. Again, Robert invented and created and constructed his own pot stills, which is kind of unique in the rum world. I mean, Judith can tell you another day about how difficult it is just to buy one, and the one that you want. But my insane partner in crime in rum, Robert Greaves, he went ahead and constructed his own pot still. He's a mechanical engineer and all that, so of course he can do everything better than anybody else, but it just took him 3 years to get it right. It would have been a little bit faster if he just bought one, but that's the particularity of Mhoba. It's like a tailored suit. Anybody can go into a store and buy a suit off the rack, but a tailored suit is different. And that's what we try to do. And that smokiness and that woodiness that you get into your mouth, into your nose, first, it's just so pleasant for what I consider a light rum at 43 ABV. I think I covered the beginning pretty well, but Tom, any questions? Joyce? Any question? John? Bert? No? All good?
I had one question. I was just wondering, what is it like in South Africa? Are you being well received in South Africa? Do people like rum, or do you feel that you're a pioneer and you have to explain a lot to people the difference between your rum and, for instance, let's say a brand like Bacardi, and
Yeah.
what makes it so special?
Or Havana Club, or whoever's fighting over power and the market shares in South Africa and Kenya and in many other countries. Well, first of all, South Africans are a bit spoiled because they're used to drinking brandy and Coke, you know, and they don't tell you that right away. But when you start asking them, what do you really drink when you get drunk? And at the end, they tell you brandy and Coke. And brandy and Coke isn't that bad, you know? So most of the rums that they drink are light, imported, mixed rums. Not very interesting rums. There's not a big market for agricole rums or pure sugarcane juice rums. And Mhoba is almost inexistent in South Africa, except in the most high-end liquor stores and in the whole area around the distillery, because, well, up until COVID, there was tourism, and tourists want to try the local stuff. And when I started selling Mhoba in Europe, I would meet people and I go like, oh, but I like that bottle. It was really good. And it was like, how the hell did you taste this? I mean, we haven't sold this bottle. We only showed it at the UK Rum Fest. I mean, what are you talking about? No, but I went to the distillery and I tried it there. And I'm like, oh, shit, but you're from fucking Denmark, you know? And we had friends, we have people from Denmark, Holland, Belgium, Germany, Switzerland, Italy, Spain, all over the world that have come by the distillery and tried Mhoba. So for a small brand, we're doing pretty okay in fame. And then there's another thing is, for the local market, what we do is we basically sell them double distilled, pot stilled, but double distilled rums. So the heads and tails of the leftovers of what we Europeans have the good fortune to drink are being redistilled, because for exactly. Yes, Richard. So, basically, when South Africans think about white rum, they think about vodka, you know, something smooth. I hate that word. It's the worst word in the rum industry ever. Something smooth, easy to drink, something you can make a mojito with. And when they think dark rum, they think rum and Coke, basically. So, well, we still make it and we still sell it and all of that. But, you know, for me and Robert, it's of absolutely zero interest. And a lot of companies around the world do molasses rums that can do that job much better than we do. So why would we, you know, waste our time with that? And basically, Robert, in the beginning, when people were tasting his rums, they were going like, you're fucking crazy, man. Nobody will drink this shit. This is too strong. This is too powerful. This has too much flavor. This is so and so. But then when Mhoba started getting recognition around the world, you know, we just won Best African Rum from the African continent in the ISS competition. We won Best Overproof in Martinique, and the Martinicans don't give medals out to anybody except Martinicans. So pretty proud of that one as well. We won Best Rum, Best Pot Still Sugarcane Juice or whatever it was in the Berlin Rum Fest. And then suddenly the South Africans started saying, oh, this must be good, because the rest of the world says it's good, so it must be good, you know? And this is a thing you will always find in former colonies, former places, is to convince the local people that what they have is really good. You need to get the acceptance of the international market. It's true about Venezuelan rum. For many years, my wife, ex-wife, is from Venezuela. And at my wedding, they wanted blended Scotch whiskey. I hate blended Scotch whiskey. I mean, I can drink single malts, but blended Scotch whiskey, seriously? I mean, what a waste. And I was like, okay, we'll put a bottle of blended Scotch whiskey, Johnny Walker 12, on each table, but we will also put a bottle of rum. They were like, no, you can't put rum on the table. That's too low level. That's too whatever. Like, no, but I drink rum. That's what I like. So yes, we will have rum. And we did. And it was probably the best wedding party ever, because everybody got drunk and everybody was happy. And all those old aunts that normally talk badly about the event and all that was so happy because I had made cocktails, you know, one with white rum and mango, white rum and strawberry, and a mango strawberry version. You know, keep it simple. Almost no added sugar, all that. They all got drunk. It was funny. It was good. People were happy. And basically, I think rum makes us happy, and whiskey makes us think. You know, it's like, no. Whiskey is for the, you know, cold days around the chimney or whatever, and rum is for all the rest of the time. So, Gianni, my friend, what was the next rum on the...
So I'm curious to hear everyone's thoughts if they want to share something about maybe their first Mhoba experience. So please feel free to share a comment. Do you like it? Do you share some of the tasting notes Knut has given you? Please feel free to comment. I'm curious to hear what you think about our first rum.
Me too.
No one? Richard?
Well, to me, I have to compliment because normally agricole is not my style. I don't like the green, like you said, but this is really good. So it's a great invention to cut off the leaves, and then the flavor will sweeten up a lot. So I really enjoy this one as a non-agricole rum enjoyer.
And that's where we have a power, and that's where I'm very happy that we're not allowed to use the name agricole, because by putting pure sugarcane juice on the bottle, it doesn't scare people away that had those experiences that you had, Joyce. And not only do we take off the first 2 or 3 layers of leaves to just get to the sugar and press it in one single press to just get the juice, but on top of that, we don't wash the canes. Normally, if you want to do bigger, larger production of sugarcane juice rum, you add water to the press so that you can press the cane over and over again. And it's very good for business, very good for your rentabilité, to make money, but it brings out all the other stuff, all the other tastes of the sugarcane. And well, we think you should avoid water as much as you can. So, and especially in Africa, good quality water is very rare and costs a lot of money to produce. Distillation processes, filtration processes, and so on. So basically, we just try to avoid water. We don't add water to the sugarcane press. We don't add water to the fermentation. I was talking to a friend of mine she's a rum producer in Martinique early on, and she said, "Oh, that's a pure rum." It wasn't her word. What was it? I forget. But anyway, it's the purest expression of sugarcane transformed into alcohol that you will get. And for me, when you're in this type of rums, we're in the same world as wine. You can have the same grapes being produced in South Africa, Australia, US, Europe, and each country and each terroir, each way of producing will give you something different. And well, probably at the end of this year, maybe next year, you will see some things that I am working on right now, which will be the purest expressions of terroir ever made. But it's, for me, I mean, sometimes our hobby and our passion is a bit expensive because we want to try everything and all the good stuff and all that. But imagine we travel with one mouthful of liquid. With that, we just took an airplane ticket and went to the other side of the world. How many things can do that? Not that many. And I think that's the wonderful thing about, you know, pure rums. Sometimes in the industrial world, we get a little bit away from it, even though they have great engineers and great rum producers and great distillation techniques and great yeasts and everything. But most of the boring rums, not the interesting rums, there are interesting rums, but most of the boring rums from South America, Central America, and a lot of other places taste the same. because they're made by the same engineers with the same work ethic. They're really good at what they do. They make perfect rum. But for me, it has very little interest. They still have interesting stuff. And when you know the distillers, when you know the guys who do the work, you basically, to get the good stuff, well, the stuff that you and you, Gianni, you, Richard, you, Judith, and other invites here would like, they have it, but they made it for themselves. They didn't make it to sell it. They didn't make it to put it on the market. They made it as a question of pride, to show off their skills. I mean, right now I'm sourcing rum from Millonario in Peru. And Millonario is, let's just say, known to make very beautiful bottles with rum that is kind of sweet. But their master distiller, Saul, is a wonderful guy. And he's a rum geek, like I hope most of us here. And he made some heavy rum, long fermentation, done the right way, and he put it aside. And I'm buying it. But his bosses asked, but why do you want to do that? He said, that's a personal project. You know, these guys can make whatever rum you want, but they are in a financial thing that makes them make rums that are a bit boring. Whereas me and Robert Greaves from Mhoba, we're crazy. We want baseball bats. We want something that will blow your teeth out when you drink it. We want something that will leave a definite memory. Either you love it or you hate it. I've never heard people say about Mhoba that it's kind of okay, you know, or kind of good. Either it's like, I don't want to drink that shit, or it's like, that is so awesome. This is so interesting. This is flavorful. This is, and you know, as I always say, we don't need to convince everybody that our rum is good, because we don't make enough rum to give rum to everybody anyway. So if we have a small, loyal community that likes extreme stuff, then we're happy. I mean, you know, Gianni, I go really far. I love all the great rum producers in the world. I'm a fanboy like most of us, you know. I'm a fan of Foursquare. I'm a fan of Hampton. I'm a fan of all these companies making incredible rums. And sometimes when people talk about Richard Seal, they say he's like the Ayatollah of rum, you know, he's whatever. And I go like, well, if he's the Ayatollah of rum, we're the fucking rum jihadists. I mean, we don't even add caramel to our stuff. I mean, we're like, you know, go fuck yourself. You like us or hate us. If you're with us and you like what we do, we will try to make our rums each time even more flavorful and better. Me and Robert, we haven't defined a profile yet. We haven't even done Ester countings of our rums because we want more esters. Richard has already put in an order for some of the Strand 151, so 75.5% alcohol. And it's going to be different than the last 180 bottles that came to Europe, because it's even higher ester, because Robert learned how to make higher ester. And he was like, hey, if we can make it better, stronger, more flavorful, then let's do it. And yeah, we're a bit crazy, but we love what we do. And passion is, I mean, if you can live and make your passion your work, then you're not working a single day in your life. I think that's a quote from somebody intelligent somewhere.
Yeah, I think we'd agree on that. Totally agree. But shall we move on to the second prop? That's the pot still white. So take us through that one, please.
So it's the select white. Was it the green label, the black label, or was it high? The black label?
Yep.
Okay, so the black label, this is basically what we don't like to produce. It's a double pot still white rum. It is incredible in cocktails. I mean, in cocktails, it's unusually good, super well balanced and everything. But when you try it, it's not Mhoba. It's not strong enough, not flavorful enough, and we're taking it off the market because in France we're working Well, our competitors are producing rums, agricole rums from the French islands. They don't pay the same taxes as us, so their rums of the same quality cost 10 euros less than ours. And we're taking off the market, and it's a bit sad, but if you can buy some from Richard or whatever, please do, because it's going to be highly collectible. It's 43 ABV and it won't be sold anymore. You have a little bit of volatiles, but quite simple. And when you taste it, you get a little bit of fruity notes and all of that. And if you're not a big Mhoba fan, this will suit you very well. But it's not a Mhoba enough for me. We'll keep that juice for the South African market so they can drink rum and juice with it. I mean, you know, honesty is the way forward. No marketing bullshit here.
Oh, great. So what do we think, guys, of this second one?
Come on, Tom. Let's hear you. Joris, what do you think? Bert?
It's good. I like it, but I understand what you're saying. If you want to be extreme, then this is not extreme enough. Then
no,
yeah.
It's good.
Yeah, it's good. I agree.
And if you have enough left in your sample, make yourself a daiquiri with it, and you will shit yourself. It's like one of the best daiquiri rums ever. But it's just
in a good way, yeah.
Yeah, but exactly. Yeah, of course, always in a good way.
Yeah.
But it's like, especially in France, since pure sugarcane juice rums, agricole rums, white rums, high-level rums, they are being tasted pure. And you know, you don't, even though a lot of people that like white rum in in France will do tiponche, you know, lime, drop lime, a little bit of sugar and rum, which is good. They won't use rum of this level, of this price range. This is about 37 euros in France to do a tiponche with. For them, it's absurd. They can buy a 55 ABV Bologne, a 1 liter bottle for like 34 euros. So why bother? And at the end, I want to spread the word that Mhoba is something exceptional and different and extreme. So it doesn't fit in any longer. But it's a beautiful rum, and I so much enjoy it. In cocktails, I mean, it's just, you know, it's like the lighter Hamptons. You know, not the heavy hitters, but the lighter ones, the small marks. It's just, you know, nice, comfortable. But it's not a baseball bat. Next, Gianni, what do we have?
Your own label.
Oh,
well, explain to people why this one is called Strand's 101.
So let me just get my sample. I finished off the rest of the bottle before I left to Spain. So Strand 101. Basically, I'm a big fan of a cheap rum called Smith & Cross. And for a less than 30 euro bottle, it's a great, great bottle. I mean, not to drink pure necessarily, but in cocktails and in drinks, it does the trick. And for the price, it's basically unbeatable. And they have a blue and gold label. So I know that all my bartender friends know that a funky rum, a real funky rum, uses blue and gold. So the label for Strand 101 is blue and gold. Anyway, when we're doing the whole range of Mhoba, I had a lot of samples, and I always say, I don't know a rum until I drank the bottle. That doesn't mean that it's a whole 70 cl bottle. It can be a tasting bottle of 35 cl, but I do everything with rum. I try them warm, cold, with ice, without ice, with juice, with Coca-Cola, with ginger beer, ginger ale. I mean, I try everything. And sometimes you have some really interesting surprises. A rum that you don't really like mixed with something suddenly becomes incredible. Little wink to the Foursquare port cask finish. On its own, not Richard's greatest work, Richard Seal's greatest work. That's also why it was sold very cheap in the beginning. Now it's one of the most sought after collectible bottles ever. But you mix that bottle, it's... Anyway, sorry, I'm getting away. So I was trying all these Mhoba samples, and there was one white rum, which is not exactly the high ester that we do 3 weeks fermentation with the red label, but it's a 2-week fermentation. It was the first Mhoba attempt on doing high ester rums. And basically it tastes so much of strawberries, not the artificial sweets that you can buy, but like real strawberry homemade marmalade without added sugar, that I couldn't use it for anything. I mean, I tried to make daiquiri with it, didn't work. It's so overpowerful in flavor that it wasn't any good. And there was another sample that I had left over, which was a Mhoba, a bit like the American oak that you tried before, but way more woody. Banana tart. Yeah. Well, basically in this Strand 101, it has about 122 different taste notes. So whatever tastes that you can recognize, you will find it in that rum. Some people go truffles, some people go banana, some people go menthol, some people go... Whatever you say, you're right, because all the flavors of this rum. Anyway, the woody rum that I tried was... thank you so much. Can't stop smelling. Yes, me too. I mean, it's the only thing that can stop me from drinking is when I'm spending more time smelling the rums, because the smelling experience is almost or even better than the drinking experience. And we had 58 ABV. So 101 is imperial proof, because Robert Greaves, the producer, is of mostly English descent, a bit of Dutch as well. Yeah. Bien sûr, of course. So when I said I wanted a 101, yeah. No, you use it to get through, day-to-day life. Put it into a little, one of those little small sample bottles of perfume, and bring it with you when you're taking public transportation and stuff. And then you just go like, psh, psh, psh. Everything will smell good, Anyway, so this oak rum, this aged rum, was too woody, too tannic, and I don't like it when wood covers the rum. I'm a rum lover. I love it when the wood, balances with the rum, but as soon as the wood takes over, for me, it might be the most expensive rum in the world. It's not for me. So basically, I took 2 rums that weren't good for me personally, separate. And I was like, but if that one is too woody and the other one is too fruity, what happens if we mix them? And thank God that day I was in my Danish state of mind. So I measured everything really precisely and started doing the blend. And then I tried it and I was like, yeah, now we're talking. Now we have a thing that is like the Smith & Cross, but pure sugarcane juice, pure pot still, and about 5 times as flavorful. And now we're serious. Yes, the art of blending, Richard, exactly. And I sent a WhatsApp message to Robert in South Africa, and I said, try this dose of, sample bottle number 5 and this dose of sample bottle number 6 and get back to me. 5 minutes later, he called me up and he said, that's fucking amazing. And the thing is, no real rum producer would ever mix a white rum and a dark rum. You just don't do that stuff, because when you're mixing white rum into dark rum, you're taking away the value of the dark rum. But I don't really care about the value. I care about the taste. And in this Strand 101, you get all the flavors, the liveliness, the fruitiness of a white rum, but with a longer, smoother profile after the baseball bat hits your teeth. If you're not dead, then you can really enjoy that wood that comes in afterward. And many people, even in the rum industry, when they tried this rum first, of course, but we want baseball bats. So many people make elegant rums. We're not going to compete with them. You know, an Abuelo 7 is a great rum for the price. Foursquare makes still, even though the prices have gone up, excellent rum for the price. How can you compete? You know, it's like, just, you know, forget it. No, do your stuff. Do you, Judith, you know what I'm talking about? Get your own profile, get your own stuff, and have fun, you know, whatever. And like, I was just asked by a French Thai brand called Shalong Bay to be their European representative. And I said yes, of course, because it's exactly the same thing as Mhoba, but from Thailand. And I gave them some advice a year and a half, 2 years ago, and they're now doing what I said: wild fermentation, higher ABV. It took them 10 years to get the approval from the Thai government to export high ABV rums, and they're the only one that have that permit. And it's just, and of course, the best rums, except Roberts, are all made by women. Just saying, you know, they don't want to show off; they just want to make good rum. So yeah, Strand 101, tasting profiles. It has about 128 different tasting notes, so I can't even start to break them down. But as a French rum taster said at the end, oh, now I know what this reminds me of. This is like the Velier Navy rum. Except the Velier Navy rum is 149 euros, something like that, right, Richard? Yeah, just about, you know. And this one is 58 euros. So, and pure sugarcane juice and pure pastel. So, you know. And the good thing is, since it doesn't have a fancy bamboo label like we do on our high-end stuff, people drink this stuff and buy more of it. And that's quite important when you're trying to make a business out of it. Because if not, we can, you know, still be here at Christmas just smelling the rum. So what's up next, Gianni? Oh, do you have a question?
No, I said agreed with what you're saying, right? It's in rum, I think, are most distillates. There's a tendency for great packaging, maybe lesser quality spirit, or people they want to make something that is so well balanced, but then at a very high price point, which it doesn't sell. Richard can add to that maybe, yeah, it's all about, you know, getting people to buy the bottle and buy another bottle because they drink it, and not, you know, are afraid of drinking a bottle because it's so expensive. They only buy one maybe every 2 years or 3 years or something like that, right? So
that was the best thing about COVID, Gianni.
Yeah, I can understand. Yeah.
People were acting like it was the end of the world. And I saw people all around the world that, through Richard and a lot of other great freedom fighters, had gotten their Mhoba bottles, and they were opening them. They were going like, well, fuck it. It's the end of the world. You know, I'll drink the high Ester that I was saving. I'll drink the French cask. I'll drink the glass cask. You know, who cares? You know, I'm bored. I want taste. And even though this COVID thing is horrible for me personally, because 60% of my friends own bars and restaurants, and some of them are now in the insane asylum, and I'm pretty sure that some of them have killed themselves, but we don't know it yet. It's really horrible. But I was like, hey, let's just enjoy the fact that people are now stuck at home and they want good rum. They want a lot of flavors. I mean, this year will probably be the year where the French truffle reached the highest price ever. Anything that has flavor, old Parmesan cheese, blue cheese, Roquefort, anything with flavor, because we're so fucking bored. And even the ones of us that are good cooks, I mean, Gianni, you and your wife, I mean, seriously, I'm pretty sure that you have one of the most flavorful cooking in the whole world. But if you eat the whole same shit for 1 year, it's like, please give me something else, please.
True. Yeah.
And you know, you have one of the most diverse cooking culinary concepts ever. But it's like, you know, we need new stuff. And before COVID, we could go out and go to a Thai restaurant, a traditional Dutch restaurant. You know, not that that's that good, but some of them are good. You could go to a French restaurant, an Italian restaurant, you know, whatever. But we're missing out on all that, and we need flavor. And well, I'm a flavor addict myself. So after drinking Mhoba rum for like 2 or 3 weeks, I want to enjoy other stuff. And then I go down the flavor scale, little by little, like a junkie that's giving up drugs. So I go down, and then after like maybe 3 or 4 days or a week or 2 weeks, then I can drink lighter rums and enjoy them just as well. But after drinking my Strand 101, try drinking a molasses rum from South Central America. Please try. It will feel like water.
Yeah. So to get something different, nonetheless, to change things up a bit, we'll move over to the pineapple next.
Yes, let's move on to pineapple.
If everyone's ready, let's pour in your sample of the pineapple.
So, as you heard before, we don't like adding stuff to our rum, neither water or sugar or anything. So this pineapple rum is kind of like the exception that confirms the rule. This rum happened because Franky, it's called Franky's Pineapple, is our South African distributor. And he has a wife who's a great person, and Franky as well. And he wanted to share his enjoyment of Mhoba rum with his wife. But she didn't really like our normal style. So Robert tried about 15 different blends with different local South African nuts and fruits and a lot of things. And the best results he got was pineapple. So that's also why you have, you know, pineapple rums from plantation, pineapple rum from everywhere. Some very artificial, some less, some redistilled, whatever. But this pineapple rum, which is like a little sweet, and please don't try to drink it, chew it. Chew it like a toffee caramel. Just go like this. Then you get all the flavors out of it. And it's white rum with seared pineapple, which means that the pineapple has been on a barbecue, so it's burnt, right? And it's dark rum with fresh pineapple that has been macerated separately for 6 months. And then we mix it so we get the right color, because as I said, we don't add caramel, we don't add sugar or anything like that. And then you have this. We did a sugar content test on it, and it has 6 grams of residual sugar from the pineapple. So basically it's the lightest, if anybody's thinking about losing weight, it's the lightest flavored rum on the market. You can't find anything similar. And up until recently, well, the first couple of batches, we were buying pineapple from other local producers. But since I love biodiversity and I've seen what other people are doing, so I said to Robert, in between the new fields of sugarcane, can you just add fields of pineapple? And if you say that to a normal farmer, he will go like, go fuck yourself. You know, I don't know this thing. But Robert said, yeah, of course. Because he's awesome. He's Superman. He can do everything. You know, he spends time with the kids, and the rest of the 18 hours a day he works, you know, like me. It's, you know, we also drink. But oh yeah, by the way, just sorry, Johnny, for 1 second. Getting back to the Strand 101, my blend. So I did the blend, I did the label and all that. We were trying to find the name of it. And the 101 came from the fact that the first high proof alcohol that I loved was Wild Turkey 101 at 50.5 ABV. And for a commercial spirit, it's great value for money. You know, it's just good. And basically it's, you know, don't talk about all the good brands that you like. Never talk about the bad brands. Don't, you know, go down, go high. But Wild Turkey 101 is one of the greatest spirits ever produced. Money for quality. So I wanted my rum to be called 101. But then, of course, Robert changed it up to 58% imperial proof and not the American way and all that. But okay. And then it was like, what are we going to call this rum? And Robert then, you know, flattering my ego, said, well, let's just call it Strand 101 because you invented it. And of course, for a rum guy like myself, that is probably like the biggest compliment you can ever get. You know, how many people in the world have their last name on a rum bottle? Well, you have the Bacardi family, you have Botran, you have some of the Clarence that have, you know, Sajou Babal, whatever. But for me, it's like a recognition of being passionate about what I do. What I didn't know, but I learned later, Robert never told me, is that there's a neighborhood in South Africa called Strand. Because Strand, as you know, in Dutch and Danish and German and all that means beach. And there's a very, very fancy neighborhood in South Africa called the Strand neighborhood. And it's like Beverly Hills 90210. You know the series? Judith, help me out here.
Yeah, 90210.
Yeah, exactly. And so, you know, he flattered my ego, but he was actually just naming it after the poshest neighborhood in South Africa.
Oh, well.
But yeah. But in the future, especially since we're only 6, contact Richard and get the Strand 151, which is 151 American proof, so 75.5% alcohol, which means it's 0.5% added water to it. Just about. And it's going to be... Richard knows this. I'm a big fan of Christelle from Hampton. And when I did the UK Rum Fest, Christelle told me, you can take a picture of me and your bottle because your rum is the only one that is as funky as mine. And when you're just starting off and you don't even have contracts or importers or anything, and you have Christelle Harris telling you this, who is a wonderful, good-looking girl and all of that, you go, oh, thank you so much. You know, it makes me very happy. But this new 151 can send almost all of the Hamptons to bed. Because we don't have an upper limit on esters.
Yeah.
Batches of Strand 101, super small. So sorry to go back to that for other guys, Tom, Joyce, John, Bert. The Strand 101. So I made the blend, I made everything. I mean, this is a crazy story, super crazy story. I mean, we're already crazy, but this is like off the charts crazy. So we decided on a label, we decided on a name, we decided on the concept, everything was good. And I was like, hey, you know, I'm a sales dude. Okay, I do creative work, I help with design, all that. I make the products that I want to sell, which is a huge luxury because normally you don't have any influence on the products that you're going to sell. You sell whatever the others produce, right? But having a finger in the whole thing is pretty nice. 3 months after we had decided everything, Robert called me up and he said, hi, can you? Now I know how to do the Strand 101. And I was like, you didn't know how to do it again? No. And what happened was, so basically the white rum that is in Strand 101 is the only sugarcane in the whole Mhoba range that has had a little bit of fire on it. Because we have 400 hectares, we're close to one of the biggest national parks in the world. Richard, what's the name again?
What, the Kruger?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Kruger Park, yeah.
And on the extremities, on the outskirts of those 400 hectares, our sugarcane cutters don't really want to go in. Because you can have like spiders like this big, you can have weird insects, and sometimes you can even have a lion having a rest. So when they're getting to the outskirts of the 400 hectares, they burn the weeds, the whatever the things that are growing around the sugarcane. Since we're organic and we don't use any pesticides, there's a lot of things growing around the sugarcane. And that slightly heating up the sugarcane and destroying some natural yeast, but leaving others to dominate, that gives that very sweet profile. And we only use that white rum, that particular white rum that's made that way, for the Strand 101 and the Strand 151. Because on its own, it's way too powerful. You can't use it for anything. I mean, you can use a Hampton high mark for a daiquiri and it will be incredibly good. The Mhoba burnt sugarcane high ester long fermentation is just, I mean, even for me who's crazy, it's insane. It's like it kills everything. I tried to make a daiquiri with it. The lime just died. I put it into Coca-Cola. The Coca-Cola didn't exist anymore. It's like, I don't know. It's just crazy. Anyway, Gianni, back to our pineapple rum.
Yeah. So but I have a question. I have a question from Judith about the Strand. While we're on the subject, she wants to know how big are the batches of the Strand 101? How much bottles are being produced at a time? Or
extremely few, like everything else we do. Thanks to the fact that I sold a lot of rum in the beginning of this year, we're now enlarging the distillery and we're adding a new 1,000 liter pot still that Robert had ready like 2 years ago. And when we install that, we're going to install another 1,000 liter and then 2,000 liter pot stills. But right now we only have a 500 liter pot still. Yeah. So for all you guys that don't know, the sugar industry is going down. So if you want to save jobs and if you want to, keep people alive, you need to transform your sugarcane into something else than just sugar. Because basically the Nicaraguans, the Brazilians, and the Indians are making sugar at such low prices that nobody can follow. So basically, thanks to the fact that some countries in the world are fucking up the sugar market, that means that we can now drink great rums from all the world. Because people now have to make rum to survive. Or, they can sell off their lands and go do other things. Yeah, so, but back to your question, Judith. So we do batches of 500 liters, both for the white and for the aged. And on a batch of the white rums, the high ester, strawberry flavored, not artificial strawberry, flavored white rum, we probably keep about 250 to 280 liters in each batch. So if we want to make 1,000 liters, we have to make 4 batches of the white one. And then to make the dark rum that goes into the blend, we will probably, we will use double pot still rum, so cheaper to make. But then we will have to age it for more than a year in the glass cask, in the demijohns and all that to get the right wood profile. And then we'll blend it together to get the right color and the right balance. But one of our bottlings that we did on the Strand 101 didn't taste the same as the other ones. It was a bit more smoky and a little bit less strawberry-like. And that was because the rum in South Africa, I mean, we can do rum almost all year round. We have sugarcane all year round. I'll explain that later. Because most places in the world only have sugarcane for 3 or 4 months. But the rum that we make between November and February in South Africa is the best shit ever. The rest of the year we can still make good rum, but it tastes more like truffles or dirt, or it tastes more earthy, like carrots, not carrots, but beetroots. It's dirt, it's earth flavors. But what you get in between November and February is fruits, and not necessarily as exotic fruits as you will get from Jamaican rums, but it goes from, I said strawberry, banana, a little bit of pineapple flavors as well. Passion fruit, passion fruit is on the bitter side. It's a bit acidity at the same time. We're not, we're almost never on the mango side, the overripe mango, the exuberant, exotic flavors. But, I like it. What do you guys think?
Yeah, that's the same question I had for everyone. Everyone is pretty quiet. So last comment was about the bananas, but that was, I think, about the strands. So what does everyone think about the pineapple? Have you tasted that one yet?
I mean, we are now, since we're in such a small and exclusive gathering, as what I can gather, we're with people who like rum. So, of course, a pineapple rum isn't necessarily, but imagine you had a good dinner, you had a good coffee, and then you have a dessert, and then you have a little glass of this stuff next to it. But would that go okay? Could that be an okay mix?
I think Bert will like this one. Yeah, he's admitting to it. Yeah.
I would love it. I would love it in an orange juice or something, or with maybe with some vanilla ice cream, orange juice, and some pineapple Mhoba. Yeah.
And at the bar/hotel 1802 Monte Cristo in Paris, I gave them, a carton of bottles because we don't sell this product in France because we don't want to do competition with Plantation, who's also distributed by La Medal Whiskey. Long story. I gave them a carton, and they make their own pineapple infusions and stuff like that. And they made a pineapple daiquiri using the white rum that we tasted earlier, 1/3, 2/3 of white rum, 1/3 of pineapple rum from Mhoba, with homemade pineapple syrup. I've never tasted a cocktail that was so close to French pastry. It was so elegant and so flavorful and so nice that I just went like, yeah, it's fine. I need to go now, because if not, I'll have 12 of them, and it's like, it's so good. Yeah. You know how it is, Judith. When the things are really, really good, we are not, we know that we should restrain ourselves from going too much. So but we also know that if a daiquiri is really good, we can have so many of them.
Yeah. Are we ready for our next rums, guys?
Please.
Yeah. So then the high Ester.
Oh. Johnny, can you I had a doubt early on. What's the ABV on this one?
66.4.
Okay, that's a good one. So the whole thing is with the high Ester is what happened here. No, he can wait. So Robert was already doing high Ester, and I was like, can we go higher? Can we do more? And I asked Robert, how long can we do fermentation for? What happens is in South Africa, in Malane, where they are, it's very cold at night and very hot at day. So you have the fermentation process that goes like this. And we don't control it with electricity or, heat control or anything. So it will ferment a lot during the day and very little at night. So basically, when we do a 2 weeks or 16 days fermentation, it's like doing 6 days or 8 days in Thailand. It's different climates, different things, whatever. So Robert had done the white rum in the Strand 101 that was 2 weeks fermentation. I was like, how high can you go? How long can the fermentation process last? And basically, we got to 3 weeks of fermentation. So what does it say on the bottle, Johnny? 21, 22 days?
I don't have the bottle here anymore. Knut,
Okay, doesn't matter. So it's either 21 or 22 days. So I tried the 3-week fermentation that Robert did after I asked him, and I was like, well, the difference between 21 days and 2 weeks, it isn't that big. Can we do more? Can we go funkier? And then I was like, who's the funkiest rums in the world? Jamaica. What do the Jamaican rum brands do to get really, really funky rums? Well, they have dunder pits, which is basically, for anybody who doesn't know, is all the rest of the rum production that you have from the pot stills, from the fermentation process, from everything. You put it into a big hole in the ground, which of course has a tank in it, so you don't have worms going in it. And you put all the rest like a compost. And then you feed it with sugarcane. You give it sugarcane to eat so that the yeast don't die. You know, you feed it. It's like, for the ones of you who are old enough, so I don't know, Bert, maybe John, remember Little Shop of Horrors? Yeah, well, you got the beard. I mean, seriously, you might be really, really young, but with that beard, I mean, you remember the Little Shop of Horrors where you have that plant from outer space that needs blood to grow and then becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, and it sings and all of that? Well, anyway, so a dunder pit is a bit the same thing. It's a monster. You need to feed it. You need to make it live. So we put fresh sugarcane into that compost so that the bacteria and the yeast can keep on growing. And so Robert sent me a test, and the first 2 months of test didn't really bring anything. After 3 months, it was like flavor, finally. And basically that's what you're getting. So the reason why, if you don't understand what I'm saying, is because of the alcohol. It kind of covers up the flavors. And that rum is an Ester bomb. Ester meaning particles per liter of flavor, whatever bullshit. Look it up on Google. But this is a flavor bomb. This is a funk bomb. This is an Ester bomb. If you add that white rum, if any of you have anything sweet next to you, iced tea, cold cup of tea, Coca-Cola, whatever, you know, sugary water that you might have next to you, Judith is doing it. She's a good student. Exactly. Now, Judith, just put in like a little bit more than a drop into the sugar. Mix it around, swirl it, taste it. Put your mic on, Judith.
Yeah, well, I tasted it, and actually, it's enhancing the same flavors, or I don't really know. It's quite sweet, but
add more rum.
I'll add more rum.
When you have a problem in life, add more rum.
Well, that kind of works. I tried it.
It might not make your problems go away, but it will make you happier.
I have to have more. A bit later on, I'm just drinking
Did
all
you see
that stuff.
Just a question, but okay, try it again now. I'm sorry, guys, but it's just really funny to have a rum producer trying out. Yeah, you know.
I would not mix this rum with Coke. I like it way more on its own.
But I know, but this rum is a Coke killer. The Coke doesn't taste of Coke anymore.
Yeah,
it just tastes of sugar water, maybe some bottles, maybe some bubbles, and that's it. It just kills the Coke. But what the sugar brings to the esters is that they open up. So now you get a better understanding of the rum. And now when you try it pure again, then you totally get the flavors. Because in that rum, there is so much flavor that it's not same, you know. We're at over 1,280 esters easy, with about 400 organic esters and about 880 something like that. Look at what Joy is saying. This is a fucking baseball bat with nails sticking out of it.
Oh, good nails. I like it.
Because you'll say you want to make the baseball bat, but this is really
sorry.
This is more than a baseball bat.
Who's talking? Joyce.
No, because you said before you want to make baseball bats.
Yes.
But this is really. I felt some nails sticking out. This is really coming in. I like it, but it's really good. But it's a baseball bat with nails.
This is not for the faint of heart. This is not for the Bacardi white rum lovers at 37.5%. This is a whole different world.
If you want to eat something with it, try dark chocolate. Just a piece of dark chocolate will be great.
Really dark, really bitter chocolate is perfect. But this rum is so hardcore. You can do blue cheese, Roquefort. I mean, I'm not a big fan of those blue cheeses, but a little bit of it, it's just the flavors it sets off is so nice. Anything that is strong in flavor, this rum can stand up to it. So if you guys were Norwegians, I will tell you to get those herring that you guys bury up in Norway and that tastes like shit. And you eat that and you drink this rum, it will be fantastic. But this is, for now, only for now, as extreme as we can get. But we'll do better.
What was the purpose to produce this rum? For which market did you want to create this rum?
So basically, this rum is our business card for all the extremists, all the rum jihadists, not the ayatollahs of rum, the jihadists of rum. You know, Gianni has a little bit of jihadist in him, just a little tiny bit, because he wants to try anything that's new and weird and interesting and flavorful. And the more you give him, the more he wants. It's like, yes. I mean, he also enjoys all the other things. He's a very democratic kind of guy, diplomatic kind of guy. It's okay. But if you can give him something that makes his palate, you know, work, then he's very, very happy. And so basically, this is our business card. It's actually the only rum that we have in our range that we really don't make any money on. Because this is not only high ester, this is also 100% pure pot still hard, which means that on a 500-liter batch, we keep about 75 to 90 liters to make this rum. So this rum, when we make it, costs us 500 liters to make a very small batch. It doesn't get, at least for us, for now, it doesn't get more extreme. But it was all worth it, because when the rum jihadists try this rum, they go, Mhoba is good. And since in many social media, Facebook, Instagram, and all that, these guys are opinion leaders, and they should be. Well, I'm kind of one of them, so, you know, I wouldn't say different. Well, the difference is I enjoy all kind of rums and from all kind of producers. I mean, as long as they're well made, I'm happy. But I do prefer pure sugarcane juice. I do prefer pot still. I do prefer these extreme rums. Those are the ones that make me smile and makes me happy. And after talking to you guys tonight, I will run off to the best rum bar in Madrid called La Ronronera, which is owned by Emiliano, who's a writer from Rum Porter, and who's an incredible guy, a real idealist. And I will go there and I'll ask him for a high proof, high ester daiquiri, and he will put a smile on my face for very, very cheap. And so, yeah, I will do, Judith. I will. But this is our world. This is our thing. And yes, this high ester rum was produced for journalists, bloggers, extremists. It wasn't produced for the regular consumers. It wasn't produced to being sold in a large quantity. But one thing that's really weird, Richard, is this is a rum we don't try to sell at all. And our numbers keep going up. So day by day, month by month, we have more and more extremists out there that wants to try this rum. And once they're convinced, like Joris said, by this baseball bat with nails in it, then they will try the rest of the brand, and then you know, they will join our little club, our little family. And yeah, so Joris, now that your mouth had a little bit of time to cool off after 62 point something degree, how do you like the aftertaste
Of the high ester one?
Yeah.
Yeah, it stays in your mouth, so I really like that. Yeah, it's there are certain flavors when you get to high ester, and if you go quite high, it gets quite
not good. Yeah.
Yeah, but then it's a weird thing that I guess that's maybe why not everybody likes it. I sometimes don't like it too, but then I still want to go back.
To give you a very good example, I'm a very, very big fan of Savannah from La Réunion. And their pure sugarcane juice rums are, for me, some of the best in the world, and I can drink them like milk. And that's why I rarely buy a bottle, because at 100 euros for 50 CLs, it goes too fast. And I really enjoy trying all the high ester molasses rums, but they don't really correspond to my flavor profile. I think they're super interesting, but I can't drink them. And the best rums that they made up until now, for me, for my personal taste, is pure sugarcane juice rums that have been aged or finished in high ester molasses rum barrels. So you get the high ester finish, but the flavor of the pure sugarcane juice. Those rums are exceptional, and that's why they're almost impossible to find. And when you find them, they cost 2 or 3 times the price that they came out at. Those are incredible at my palate. I'm not saying that I am right. I'm just saying that for my personal taste, I prefer the Mhoba palette of esters to the Savannah palette of high esters. But Savannah's pure sugarcane juice rums are probably some of the very, very, very best in the world. And I hope that one day in the near future, Mhoba will be doing as good in the pure sugarcane juice, not high ester rums. But it's very, very difficult. You need at least, you need tens and tens of years of experience to do something that is so refined. But I think that Robert, a little bit by luck, a little bit by trial and error and trying to make the best product he could, created some interesting esters. And as I said before, I have to level down after drinking Mhoba rum for a couple of weeks, because everything else just tastes like water. And
Joris, what do you think? What's the aftertaste for you at this point? I can't hear you, yours.
No, neither can I. What happened with the sound? Everything seems lower.
I'm not sure.
Johnny, please talk.
Yeah, I'm talking right now.
Yeah, but it seems very low.
Okay. I can hear you perfectly.
No, and I can hear you, but it's just... Richard, try your microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you hear me? Is that right?
Yes, I can, but you're a bit low as well. But
Okay.
yeah, I can hear you. Okay, well, anyway, the wonders of the internet.
Yeah, yours.
Well,
can you
maybe
try?
the microphone. Can you turn on higher?
Yeah, but I haven't changed anything at
No,
all.
I mean,
I got my
we.
thing on a...
We. As participants, you can install your microphone on a higher level.
Okay, I'll try that. Oh, that wasn't the right button.
Oh.
Zoom.
No, the mic.
Here. No. Where can I do that, Johnny?
Oh well, just are you using a laptop? It's just your regular.
I'm using my cell phone. It works perfectly up until now.
Well, then it's just the volume up button. I think that should.
Let me just close down everything else. Let's see. Well, anyway, it's good. So, Johnny, after the Hi Ester, do we have anything left?
Yeah, the Bushfire, right? The new release.
Okay. Okay. So
saving the best for last, or not? Maybe.
Judith, do you have the Bushfire in your glass? I have a small sample of this left because I gave my Bushfire bottle away to Emiliano yesterday at the La Rondonera. And when you're traveling the world, each bottle that you're bringing with you costs you a lot of money. Wait, I will just have in this case explosion and first chocolate. No, I didn't. Sorry, guys. Can Joyce? Can you rewrite what you put? I really like those tasting notes that you just put in. Oh, well, anyway, so Bushfire. Once upon a time, a year and a half ago, I was in Cognac with Robert Greaves from Mhoba. And we had a great trip visiting Cognac distilleries and these incredibly passionate people that take about 8 to 9 years to make a single drop of Cognac. And we were like, this is awesome. We don't have that patience. We want to make good stuff fast. Anyway, we had a great time. Drank a lot of good cognac, ate a lot of good French food, made a lot of great producers like Géraldine Landier, and chocolate made it came down a bit frustrated. Yeah, you're right. And that's when we get back to the dark chocolate, that bitterness, that sweetness, it's exactly that. And if you start eating dark chocolate at 80% over and with the Strand, you're fucked. It's like eating popcorns. You just go chocolate rum. It's great. Anyway, so be careful when you drink some of our stuff. First thing is good, second thing is nice, third time you're addicted. Anyway, so me and Robert, we were in Cognac and all that. And then Sunday morning at 8:30 in the morning, we were leaving, and Robert says, "Oh, you should try this." And I was like, "Okay, let me try this sample." Wow, this is nice. This is good. This is what you have in your glasses. And I made the guy who was renting us the Airbnb, so a local guy, a French guy from Cognac, try it. And he was like, "Oh, this is nice." And I was thinking flavor profiles and all that. And after like 15 minutes, I went, "Robert, what ABV is this at?" And Robert, he's like a really big kid. And he just went, 72.5. And I was like, I was drinking this as breakfast at 8:30 in the morning. I'm like, but it's so sweet. It's so nice. Anyway, this rum was created by Robert because the South Africans have a tradition called the braai, which is the barbecue. And in the northern parts of South Africa, they use a wood type called the sickle bush or the braai wood to make this barbecue. So the reason why all South Africans love the braai, no matter if they're black, white, yellow, or any color in between, is because they use really heavy wood, hardwood, that takes a very long time to heat up. So before the barbecue is ready and you can eat, you have 3 to 4 hours of drinking. And of course, drinking means double fisting, which is a glass of rum in one hand and a beer in another hand, and then you go. So Robert was doing one of these braais at the company, at the distillery, and when it's been a hard week, he invites all his employees for a barbecue on Friday evening, where they can invite their families, and it's a big, big party. And Robert was preparing the barbecue, and he was drinking rum, and he went, how could I put the flavor of the barbecue into the flavor of the rum, the two things he likes the most in the world? And well, he used a glass cast system, so we use braai wood sickle bush. Even when it's 30 years old, it's not much higher than 1 meter, so you can't make barrels out of it. Anyway, okay. I didn't read the end of that, Judith. What did your friend say? That his friend had tasted it and it brought what?
Brought him straight back to his home country. He really loved it because the smell, it's so familiar for him.
And I've had that reaction to, even with French people who had visited South Africa and all that, they just taste it and then they go like, whoa, and they go, oh, this is like, you know, getting back there at the braai, at the barbecue with the people, you know, in the middle of South Africa. And yeah, it's a crazy, 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 crazy rum. It's 55 ABV in France at 55 euros. I think a little bit cheaper with Richard, but anyway, maybe 40, 52, 50, anyway, doesn't matter. It's not my favorite of the line. Of course, my own blend is my favorite. But it makes some super interesting old fashions. I mean, drinking on its own is already crazy. 60 euros, okay. Those taxes are killing us. But it's, yeah, liquid barbecue with this acacia honey finish, with the high Ester rum coming through after the wood, but with this smokiness taking over again. And yeah, it's a trip. And right now it's getting very, very popular because more people than we think like things that are different. And a lot of people like barbecue. What do you think, Johnny? Because this is one of the, well, I know you tasted it when you were doing the sampling and all that, but what do you think?
Sorry, I really have a bad cough. I didn't pour it this time. I did taste it once, but I did like it, and I hope to have tasted it alongside with you guys today. But I've only tasted 2 of the samples because I'm on some medicine and cannot taste everything today.
Okay, next.
Thank you.
Poor guy. Get well soon. Richard, what do you think? I know you tasted this several times before, but what do you think?
I think it's a great rum. I think it's not a sipping rum. It's more a sipping rum while having dinner or while you're having a good barbecue. That smoky flavor keeps going and going and going. So it tastes very good with a piece of meat, a big piece of meat. So
yeah. And as you saw, one of my friends who has a restaurant, he does pulled pork where he adds Bushfire to it. And that's crazy. And it's really good. And last night when I was at La Ronronera, the famous Madrid bar of rum, It's not a great bar, but it has a great selection of rums and a great guy behind the bar. Anyway, it's the kind of rum you drink with a beer in your hand.
Yeah.
Have a regular lager next to it.
I think it's also good with an some ginger beer or ginger beer.
Yeah,
Then you get
and
that
you're right, Richard.
smoky ginger.
Even the heaviest of ginger beers, this rum will kick through.
Yeah, true.
It's, you know, this is not a weak rum. Well, we don't do weak rum anyway, but this is, you know.
This is a rum for geeks.
Well, actually, as I said, thanks to the fact that a lot of people, just in general, all the world like barbecue, when people don't have the palate, when they're not used to drinking rums, the non-rum drinkers will go like, oh, this is barbecue, this is good, but it's a bit sweet, it's nice. You know, their analysis of the rum will stop there. And for people who know rums better, they will go like, oh, I taste the smoke, I taste the barbecue and all that, but oh, I taste the high esters, this is interesting. And for people who are really experts, they will go like, oh, there are some nuances in there that are super fine and super interesting. It all depends on your level, but this is a rum that actually most people, as long as they like meat and barbecue, I mean, it's maybe not a vegetarian rum, but this is a rum that they will like, you know. And even if they're vegetarians, as long as they like mezcal or they like any kind of smoked whiskeys, Octomore or whatever, you know, they won't think badly about this rum. They're going like, at least it's interesting, and a lot of people will just love it. So
it's not an rum for as everyday rum. It's more a rum for occasions.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
As I said, this is a barbecue rum. So when do you have barbecue? Every day? No. It's Sunday. You have your friends over. You prepare the meat. You start, you know, making the sauces and all that. It takes time. You burn the coal. It starts heating up. And in the meantime, you drink a little bit of rum, a little bit of beer, a little bit of rum, a little bit of beer. And then when you get drunk enough, then you pour rum over all your meat, and then it flambés in rum, and then it tastes really, really great. So, Johnny, any more questions? John, come on. Move.
No questions.
Any questions? Please let me know.
One
There
thing
is a base smell to all the rums we taste. Something that reminds me of the smell that hangs around the what? Sorry.
No, I have one question. You were talking about looking at the whole range you have now, right? The Bushfire was.
Who's talking right now? Sorry, it was who?
It's me, Johnny.
Oh yeah, Johnny. Sorry.
The Bushfire was released last year, right?
Yeah, but at the end of the year, so not really at the best barbecue moment, you know. November, December is yeah. Optimal barbecue sauce. Yes, perfect. I agree.
And the whole Mhoba range was pretty well developed 2-3 years before that. I can remember.
About 2 or 3 years before.
You guys
just because you're one of the front runners and you were the first one in Holland to have a Mhoba tasting and all that, for you it's already a long time ago. But before we got conversation and people like Richard on our side to start developing sales, it's only been, you know, a year and a half, 2 years.
Sure.
But it's all really recent. But yes, you're right. We already had a range and a big range for a small brand with a small volume. And it wasn't maybe the ideal thing to do is, but for an extreme rum producer, we try to make a rum that pleases everybody in our extreme world.
Yeah, but so that's the question actually. Are you planning on releasing other bottlings? I know that you've been for the first time have been selling to some rum to independent bottlers, right? Like
to Bellier, Holmes K, Canada, Terroni in France.
Next? Yeah. So what's next actually?
Well, the thing is, I sold to all these independent bottlers because I'm a fanboy. I like what they do, you know, and it's a great honor for a rum producer to be part of that level. But at the same time, we don't have enough juice. So normally I wouldn't sell to these guys because we don't make enough rum. But we can't do fairs. We can't do all the marketing stuff that we normally do. We can't go see our friends. I mean, I would kill somebody anyway for a chance to go to Amsterdam and have a drink with Judith and Richard and you. You know, that would, you know, it's like, this is what we're missing right now. But if I have all these great independent bottlers bottling my rum, everybody will talk about Mhoba all year round. From Europe to America to Canada, everybody this year will talk about Mhoba. And all these bottlings are really small, so there won't be enough for everybody, which means that if you want to try this rum that was bottled by these independent bottlers, but you weren't quick enough to get one of those very few bottles, then you will try the Mhoba range. So it's publicity, it's all that. But you know, when you're a small company, you don't have a marketing budget or marketing department. You do viral marketing or guerrilla marketing, which is do whatever you can with the means you have. And if you do it well, then people will, and your product is good, of course. I mean, without a good product, just forget it. But then you will have these super interesting people like you, Gianni, like Judith, like Richard, like Joyce, like John, like Bert. They will go like, hey, have you tried this weird little rum from South Africa? And as I say, I don't really try to sell rum. I just try to preach rum. I need disciples. I need apostles. I need people to spread the word, because I'm only one guy and I'm doing it all on my own. And my only marketing power is the word of mouth. And when people who enjoy their rums say that my rum is good, that is the biggest compliment I can ever get. And that is my biggest selling power. You know, this is, you know, try this. Like it, don't like it. If you like it, buy it. Let's go. And yeah, and I'll just end off with this, and then I will go and leave you guys alone with all the rums. And please re-smell every one of them and go back on them after they've aired a little bit, because they will change a lot. Our rums are young, and on our, especially on our white rums, we should leave them to rest for maybe 6 months or maybe a year more, but we don't have the time, the luxury of time. So they really develop a lot when they're aired a little bit. But basically, it's like you're doing your passion, and yeah, I have my kids, and I have the rum, and I like to get drunk on rum, preferably. I mean, not drunk, but you know what I'm saying, you know, enjoying the spirit. But at the same time, if we enjoy these great producers, these great products from these people who are more than just regular people, we can change the world, get drunk, and with a good feeling at the same time.
Oh, true.
Like, yeah, go ahead, Gianni, please.
Oh, true. I was, you're totally correct. I mean, quality sells. You can fancy marketing only takes you a certain to a certain point. And
no, but the fancy marketing can take you very, very far. Look at Zacapa. It used to be a very, very good rum. Then Diageo bought the rights to it and changed the formula a little bit and made hundreds of millions on it. Lowered the price and lowered the quality and whatever.
That's true. Okay.
And the John, yeah. So the whole thing is exactly that. At least you tried it. And then when you try another 10, 12, 15 rums that you like more, then you might get back to Mhoba and enjoy it a lot more.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing. Rum is a trip. Rum is a travel through experiences and stuff like that. Sometimes I've had people who never tried real rum in their life try Mhoba and love it. But for people who already have an idea of what they think rum is, it's a much longer journey because you have to, you know, get them through all the stages. But yeah, you know, you can't be pleasant to everybody. And as I said, we don't try to be. We try to fuck people up with good stuff, and that will give you an intense experience. That's what we try to. But yeah, and at the same time, me, myself, and I try to support producers that has how to say this, a sense of local community. Last year, this new brand that I'm working with, Shalong Bay from Phuket, they were prohibited from selling alcohol because of the lockdown in Thailand for 1 year. And they do 85% of their volumes in Thailand. So totally fucked. And they dug into their treasury to keep buying the sugarcane from the small organic farmers that they use so that these guys wouldn't have an economical problem. And they kept producing rum, even though they had nobody to sell it to, which is really good for me now because now there's a stock. But anyway, this is the future. And of course, all the small producers of the world are not going to change the world. But right now, we are gaining small percentages, which means that the big brands are getting not scared, but they're thinking, oh, something is going on. And now you have a organic Barcelo, La Martiniquaise with St. James and Bali and the Paz and all that are now coming out with organic rums, even though Marc Sassier, their head master distiller and fucking genius, has said for the last 5 years that organic rums weren't the future because they were too difficult and too expensive to produce. Well, now they're making them. Thanks to all of us small producers doing really small volumes, but trying to change the world. And since we're eating away on the business of the big guys are changing, which means that we're winning because we're changing the world. And if we keep on doing this, maybe 5-10 years from now, Bacardi will do organic molasses in all their rums, because if not, they won't be able to sell them in Sweden, Norway, and Finland. And maybe Diageo will start having a conscience and start making stuff the right way without always using middlemen to not be responsible for their own acts. And maybe we can all get drunk and have a huge party while saving the world in the future. That's what I wish for.
That's a great wish, I think. Any more questions for Knut at this point? Anyone?
Come on, Bert. Come on, you can do it. Add the microphone. Say it in Dutch. Say it in Finnish, whatever you want. I don't care. I want to hear your voice. Oh, you don't have a microphone. Oh, fuck. Okay, if you don't have a microphone, that's another problem. Bert, next time I come to Holland, we have a drink, okay?
Okay.
And Joris, you'll join us, right? You bring your favorite rum, I bring my favorite rum.
Oh, that's a deal. I'm in already.
Sorry, Johnny, what did you say?
No, I said I'm in. Deal.
Oh yeah. No, but Johnny, I don't have to invite you.
Oh no,
you're already
I just invited myself.
You know,
so.
Some people you don't need to invite. You know, that's families, different thing. And Judith, I'm looking so much forward to taste your last example of your rum, because that raspberry yeast that we were talking about back then. Well, actually, I was talking that with your business partner, and I said, if you were going to do a Dutch rum, do something that's special, do something that is from you. And he said, oh, yeah. And apparently you guys did. And apparently you guys did create a rum that is very specifically, even though with imported molasses, because sugarcane don't grow in Holland just yet. You did. Hey, I mean, seriously, you know, I'm the jihadist, you know, don't fuck with me. But you guys did a superb, interesting Dutch rum.
Yeah, but we do have the same problem. So a lot of people don't like it. And Also, there's still a few people in Holland who are rum geeks, as you can see. But we're getting there. Yeah, lots of interest.
But the thing is,
Judith,
it's not for everybody to like. But as long as the ones that like it, love it, then you're all good.
Yeah, so you're an inspiration. I liked your talk because it gives me the feeling that we're on a good way.
No, you are. And I would say you're one of maybe 4 distilleries in all of Europe that is on the right way. Because another 8 or 12 are just trying to copy what's happening in the rest of the world. And they don't have the climate for it. They don't have the nature for it. They won't. If you do rum in Europe, do it your own way. Don't try to be everybody else.
Yeah, I like it, Bert.
Sorry?
Bert has my bottle. I didn't know. He just showed it. So.
No, but hey, by the way, Jude, I need a sample. I need a sample of the second batch. I haven't tried it.
Send me your address. I'll give it to you.
I will.
The second batch is
big
great.
Hugs, a lot
really
of love,
great.
a lot of rum, and now I'm running off to the rum bar before it closes because here in Spain, in Madrid, there's a curfew at 11. So if you don't get served by 10:45, you don't get anything.
No problem. So thank you very much for this, man. Thanks for taking the time to introduce Mhoba to all of us. And in a matter which I know you can, and I hope you all enjoyed this very much. Thank you again for joining us today.